Over the last week, I've heard several times, largely because of General Cost Employer's speech, that NATO is going to be attacked in the next 4 years by Russia. Or that it may be, and we should prepare for it. Well, there is an old adage: if you want peace, prepare for war. Well, it's a very old adage. Si vis pacem para bellum. It was actually Publius Flavius Vegetius Renatus, what a name, back in the 4th or 5th century. So there's a lot of truth in it, and I would suggest that he's right. But should we really be talking up the risk of Russia attacking NATO? I mean, it's exciting, it sells headlines, it's good to get everyone worried. But after 3 years of war in Ukraine, is anyone actually impressed with Russian strategy, Russian equipment, with the Russian Navy? They can barely put a boat out to sea, with their air defence that are very easily defeated by Ukraine, with their military prowess. They've proved themselves to be maybe not a paper tiger, but a paper bear. They've made a laughingstock of themselves. Why is everyone buying Chinese fighter jets instead of Russian ones? Well, partly because the Russian ones haven't come off very well. This military superpower that sends boats to sea that aren't seaworthy, that has had its country invaded in return and not really done anything about it, that has lost so many tanks that they're taking old museum pieces out and using them, that has not been able to use its aircraft from within 100 miles of Ukraine. All of their wonderful equipment. Where's their Armada tank? Whilst the last few years have shown that Russia has an unendable supply of peasants to throw in front of the cannons, that's not really what wins major wars. And with an proxy arm's length war, they've been kept at bay quite easily. The poor Ukrainians have had to pay the price for this. But does this suggest that they would believe they're capable of attacking a NATO nation? If you look back at Russian history, Russia has always been scared that they're a giant rectangle. They're frozen to the north. They can get to the sea from time to time, but not all the time. In the east, they've taken a lot of Chinese territory, which the Chinese would really like back, which gets them into the Pacific. From the west, they have open land from the Urals to Western Europe, and they see that as an open flank. Stalin worried about it. That's why he insisted on spheres of influence, so that he could build himself a barricade of other people's countries to sacrifice before Russia. Putin is almost a continuation of Stalin. He's a continuation of the Soviet way of thinking, but made worse by the fact that they don't have that defence of other people's countries anymore. Their empire is gone, and the emperor is feeling rather naked. He has rebuilt the pride of their country, and a lot of that spins on being belligerent and standing up to the West. But does that mean that he's stupid enough on his own to attack the West? So maybe he's just the bogeyman for it. I think there are many threats that are very viable for a world conflict. Russia's just a bit player in that. And do we really need to talk it up? Can we just not be a bit more vague rather than pretending that Russia is going to launch a full-scale tank assault against Poland, who, even if they didn't have other NATO nations to back them up, I would suggest have enough tanks and skill and strategy to make life very difficult for our Russian friend. Though it worries me that we're being so blind to risks on a world scale, whilst feeling a jingoism and an over-enthusiasm to pretend that Russia is about to launch a full-scale military attack. I'm sure they'll do dirty little tricks to make life difficult for us. But should we really be talking them into a corner? Or supporting the rhetoric they have at home?